you'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
What a difference a week makes. I'm Randy Hills, and this is Talking Memphis Wrestling on Tuesday, February the 25th. Last Tuesday, we had Weather Live Radar. Last Tuesday, Jonesboro, Arkansas, where my story began, we were experiencing a winter storm warning. 1 week later, on February the 25th of the year 2025, it was 76 degrees about 3 hours ago. It's 64 degrees now. Hello to my man BC Collins, my man Robert, my man Mickey, the Time Lord, of course. Greg Wayne is here, and my best buddy, Randy West, who was under the weather last week, and he's back. Hey, a big show. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We will take a deep dive, the year 1987. I'll probably have a rant or one or two or 20 or 50. Hey, Frank Seaton's in the house. PJ's in the house. All kinds of people's in the house. Because, hey, people, we want you to enjoy this show. We want to teach you on this show. We want this to be a fun place. Doesn't matter if I think I'm funny and entertaining. A lot of times I watch these shows and the host gets a hell of a kick on themselves. Hell of a kick. Now, of course, Jim Cornette amuses himself, but he's amusing son of a gun. There's no doubt about that. But we want to entertain you. We want to teach you. And we want to certainly lay out Memphis wrestling history. Calvin Lindsay always gets jealous if I don't say hello to him. There's 100 things happening at once, Calvin. I can't get to everybody. Thomas Lemon, he's not going to get mad at me. What else is going on? Hey, what's going to go on for the first time in quite some time? Rolling into the screen from Southside, Arkansas, live. He's originally from Jonesboro, Arkansas. He went all over the state of Arkansas, including BB, and he's in Southside now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, Assistant Superintendent of Southside Schools. What's going on? And welcome back to the show, Chris freaking Ellis.
It's great to be back, RH. Excited about today's show. One of the most monumental events that happened in my memories of those glory days of Memphis wrestling. Couldn't wait to get back on after I saw the notes. It's been a while, and as you said, last week, 6 below zero on Wednesday morning chill factor, and then today, 76. Got to love Arkansas weather. If you don't like it, stick around 4 or 5 days. It'll be beautiful, or it'll be snowing, or it'll be whatever the heck you want it to be. So it's been amazing.
4 or 5 days, hell, 4 or 5 minutes sometimes.
Amen to that. From what, I mean, it might be below freezing in the morning and 75 at lunch. You can't ever tell around here. So
you look healthy. You look good. You look happy. No scoops in Southside?
No scoops. No scoops. I may have a scoop in the coming months, but it's all, I got to keep it on the DL right now. Working on something, maybe something exciting. Maybe we'll have announcements. I'm teasing that for down the road.
Okay, that's good. That's the promoter. And you're Richard Hood. What's up with you, pal? Now, Pat Trammell is off gallivanting around doing something. I forget what exactly he's doing. He stays so busy. I think he's just having friends with old friends. I think he's partying and just having good times with his buddies. So he won't be here with us today. The person here today has warned me a little bit that he may be a little bit having some voice problems, but he's a professional. He's a Hall of Famer. He's our own Michael St. Freaking John.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
You don't think I'd go to plan B quick? I'm good at this.
Oh, love you, man. Love you, man. Thanks for the intro. Coach, great to see you. You are looking good. Is being the assistant superintendent being the guy that has to do all the work that the superintendent just don't want to do?
Well, extraordinarily enough, I don't know if anybody's seen Landman, but Tommy's character in Landman is called the crisis management executive, and that's what they've started calling me here at work. I basically handle all the problems. That's my job.
Hey, they couldn't have asked for a better one. They couldn't have asked for a better one. And I didn't know you were on the disabled list. You said you had to keep it on the DL. I didn't know you were on the disabled list.
Yeah, not the DL, the down low. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, down low. Yeah,
I
down
got
low.
you. I got you. Hey, Randy, thank you for the opportunity tonight. I do. My throat. Hey, the reason this is happening is because of what you just said. You guys up there just gave weather last week to this week. Last week at 4:00 in the afternoon on Tuesday, it was 24 degrees right here high atop Brindley Mountain. Today at 4:00, it was 74 degrees. That's a 50-degree swing, and you can hear it in my sinuses all over the place.
You ready to get going?
Absolutely.
Hey, we're going to milk out. I've been doing this for a month, the year 1987. However, I did a show last Tuesday. Michael was with me on the show, as was Pat, and it was the 30th anniversary of the death of Eddie Gilbert, and we covered that real good. The next day, we found out, we were then, on a Wednesday, we were honoring Tojo Yamamoto. As Tojo Yamamoto passed away, and we have a caption with those dates. Tojo Yamamoto passed away in 1992 on February the 19th. He was born January the 6th, 1927. He passed away, of course, again, February the 19th of 1992, 65 years old. As a young man growing up in Jonesboro, Arkansas, just like me, Chris Ellis, where were you in 1992, and when did there was no Facebook, no social media back then. How did you receive the word on Tojo Yamamoto?
I'm sure it was on the wrestling show the week after he passed. Same way I did Eddie Gilbert's news. That's the way I found out about both. So I'm sure that's how it was. And I can remember, I'm vertically challenged for those who don't know. And when I was a little kid, I remember thinking Tojo was much bigger than he was, and he was scary as hell. Like, he was a scary dude when I was a kid. Like, you didn't want to mess with him. And then the older I've gotten, and I hear every time I see you, Randy, and I think of Tojo, you son of a gun. You son of a gun. I think about that every time.
I tell that story all the time. I had a fantastic show last week. We have some funny video, the funniest video I've ever seen of Tojo coming up in a few minutes. And then I'm going to add something in just a second. But first, this is a where were you type of thing. Where were you, Michael St. John, in the year 1992, and how did you come about the information? Because I would think that you were working for the company around that time. Here's Michael St. John.
I had just left Nashville I'd been gone for about a month. I was the program director of Hot 97 in St. Louis, my first stint in the St. Louis. And my ex-wife, Lisa, who we were close with Tojo. I'm not gonna hide anything about it. He came to the house. He loved the kids. He cooked for us. We'd been taking him out to eat. Tojo was. It pains my heart to this day. And what's so funny about this? I got a call at 8:30 in the morning. I'd been at work about 30 minutes, and the secretary came in and said, "Michael, your wife's on the phone. Something's wrong." Like the first thing you think about your kids. I get on the phone and she's crying. I said, "What's wrong? What's up? What's happening? The kid's okay?" Yeah. Tojo shot himself. And I was on the 18th floor of the Sevens building in Clayton, Missouri, and my heart fell to the basement. Didn't even need the elevator. It fell to the basement. And you know what's funny, Randy, and I did not realize today was the anniversary until you brought it up.
No, it was last Wednesday.
Was it last
Wednesday?
Because I got up this morning, and Tojo is one of those people that I think a lot of people in our business, and even people outside of our business, he touched a lot of people. He touched a lot of souls. He touched a lot of people, whether in his persona, whether in his character, or whether in his being as Harold, who nobody ever called him that. He was Tojo to everybody. But I think Tojo was a very, very soft-hearted, good-hearted, genuinely. He was the best of everything. I mean, I still tear up when I think of Tojo. And I probably, of all the people that I have ever had in my life outside of my parents, I think about Tojo passing more than probably anybody else other than my parents. And I mean, he was, from the time I started in 1977 until I saw him in December of 1991, right before Christmas. He was in a bad state. He was upset about having to take kidney dialysis, and he said, "I'm not right, Michael St. John. I'm not white. I'm not well. I shoot myself. I kill myself." And I was like, "Tojo, no, absolutely, man. Everybody loves you. We'll help you. You'll get through this. Everybody goes through crises in life." And then to hear this, 6-8 weeks later was devastating.
Now, we're going to turn from that in just a minute, but I have something. Adam, if possible, do we still have a Randy's Rant graphic anywhere? I guess not. We haven't done a Randy's Rant in a long time, but there we go. Randy's Rant, strong language. It started out for me. It started out for Michael St. John. It started out for Chris Ellis. It started out from PJ to Shane to BC to every stinking one of you. How did we start? Same thing, Jerry Lawler. Same thing, Jeff Jarrett. I can go on and on. Same thing, Steve Austin. Same thing, The Rock. Same thing. Same thing. How did we start? We started as wrestling fans. That's exactly how we started. Do you remember back in the day? Because wrestling now, even though it's never looked so damn phony in its life, it really hadn't, and it's never been so exposed in its life. And it's also now wrestling is more accepted by the masses, by other media than anybody else. So the media and the corporate America respects professional wrestling now more than it ever has in the history of watching wrestling. It is respected now. We're not going to get into knocking AEW that some of us like to do, or knocking the WWE, especially 3 or 4 years ago. We're not going to do that. I am defending us wrestling fans who choose what we like, and we like wrestling, and we've all been made fun of. We've all been fussed at. We've all been told we're stupid, and wrestling fans stereotype of the dumb people, or just dumb people, just crazy people, just stupid people don't like wrestling. That's the stereotype, and it makes me mad as hell. It makes me do a rant and a roll, and it makes me hot. It's something that I put up with all my life. Now, Michael St. John, I don't know if you remember it or not, but we did something a little different, and we want you to come on for just a second to answer this question before I continue on this rant. Very rarely on the Tuesday night show do I open it up to the audience to come in. Very rarely. However, last week we did do that several times, a couple of times during the show, and we had a William Robinson. William Robinson was just on here real briefly. I don't even remember what he talked about. Do you remember that conversation?
I think I do, but where are we going with this? I'm anxious to see.
That's a tease. That's
Okay.
a tease, and that's the expose of your badass memory, is what that is.
Hey, listen, I'm 40. I'm 73, so I'm not making any excuses. You're right. I can remember what happened 40 years ago, but don't ask me what I had for breakfast this morning.
Full screen RH, please, Adam. Full screen RH. So, last Wednesday, I didn't Uber. I didn't work. I stayed home, Bo James. I stayed home because it was snowing outside. So I just stayed home and I got bored. And so I did two Randy Hale's show. And that's the show I like getting people to come in and talk. Well, this William Robinson, nickname is Rusty, popped in, and so we were just conferring and we were talking and all this sort of thing, and I was interviewing. He is from Memphis, and I knew this, and he grew up. He's older than me. I won't say his age, but he is older than me. And after he went to Memphis schools, and then he went to the University of Tennessee in Memphis, all that sort of thing. His dad loved wrestling. His family loved wrestling. He's watched this show off and on from time to time, and he loves and he's very knowledgeable. Remember, wrestling fans, the people look down on wrestling fans. They really do. This William Robinson has, for a long time, he's lived in New Orleans, Louisiana nowadays, longer than he ever did in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, let's lose the comments and bring Chris and Michael St. John back on the screen as I'll tell the whole story, the whole scoop and nothing but the scoop. And I think Michael's went away and he said he wanted to hear the scoop. He wanted to hear nothing but the scoop. But I don't see him on my screen at all. I just see Chris and I see me, and I have to look here and see if I can find Michael. Michael is here, and I guess we're good. And just if we can make sure we can get Michael on the screen, and I will put him on the screen myself. Oh, I'm fixing to say I think Adam must have walked away. Chris, do I have you interested in this? Are you wanting to know where I'm going with this damn story?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear what about William Robinson, where this is going.
Okay. Michael, you understand what I'm saying, and you've lived it too. You agree with the fact, especially back in the day, wrestling fans were considered stupid.
Second class citizens.
Second class citizens. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Well, I find out in that little conversation that the school he went to, University of Tennessee, was the University of Tennessee Medical School. He is 65 years old, and you might can help me figure out the name of it. And just Google if you have that available now. William Robinson, Dr. William Robinson in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's a women's cancer doctor. He's a surgeon, and he just retired this year. And it does my heart good, Chris, and it does my heart good, Michael St. John, that old-time knowledgeable Memphis wrestling fan that's done great. You check his Facebook page. I know you guys don't have Facebook, but he's also a musician, and he's posted great stuff. He's a great on the guitar, the bass. I think he's just fantastic. So I don't see him. He says his daughter's in town. Mardi Gras has been going on. All kinds of stuff's going on in New Orleans, and I don't know if he's watching or not. Folks, I'm bragging on William. I'm bragging on Wrestling Fan. I'm bragging on Chris, who is a fantastic educator, changes lives. Michael St. John, a legendary Hall of Fame broadcaster and a great grandpa too, by the way. I'll add that in. So, guys, respond to my story, then we'll get into wrestling as we're 21 minutes into the show.
I can say that and I'm not saying this to brag, but I have 3 college degrees. And many times in my life, I've been told, I can't believe someone as educated as you is such a wrestling fan. And I laugh at that because the same people making fun of me for that are watching Days of Our Lives, which is the dumbest thing. Soap operas are the dumbest thing they ever put on television in history.
See, I like soap operas.
That's a whole other story. But my whole point is everybody has things they're passionate about and they love, whatever it may be. And so what I've tried to do is teach the younger generation. For example, you get asked the universal question, y'all have all been asked, and it's a curse word to say the word fake. But the kids ask me, Mr. Ellis, is it fake? And so here's what I do. I bring up the video of type in Rock, chair shot, Mick Foley. And we show the video of Rock hitting Mick in the head with a chair and the staples in Mick's head. And all the kids are like, oh my God, oh my God. And I said, now that's just one example. I could give you 1,000 matches I could show you on YouTube. And all of a sudden, they've gone from it's a whole different mindset because of what they've been told and so forth. And y'all have heard me say this on this show. My appreciation is for the art form. And like Randy's mind to book it and put it together, and Michael's ability to sell it, and the people in the ring to make it all work together. And I miss the old days for this reason. The ad lib. Sylvester Stallone says wrestlers are the greatest improv people ever. Not any actor, but wrestlers. That came from Sylvester Stallone himself. And so I don't give any credence to that, but I know as a kid at Jonesboro, Arkansas, we were all buddies. We all loved it. But in the mainstream society, they think you're educated and you like that. Well, hell, you like crazy stuff to me too. So
we'll get to Michael in a few minutes about Mr. Robinson. Charles Glaze, I think first I might have mispronounced that name, but a great message. I think a first-time viewer today said, hey, Randy, Cherish from Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised. I grew up watching CWA, USWA, Power Pro Wrestling on TV, Channel 5. How y'all doing today, man? We're doing good. Back to Michael St. John, as I'm fired up. That conversation with William, Rusty is his nickname, major ass surgeon, and just that does my heart good. What do you think? Good stuff, Michael.
Well, it's great. I wonder if he knows my daughter, Jamie St. John, who works at Oshner Hospital in the surgical unit. in New Orleans for the past 8 years. So there could be a connection there. You know, it's funny you mentioned that, and it's funny you bring that up at this time because I think the wrestling fans, I think what the WWE did with the superstars of wrestling is that it made it more homogenous, but it also made it more listener and viewer friendly. And I think that helped put the wrestling and business and then the marketing and all, it just exploded and went bigger and bigger. And now, like you said, it's the biggest thing going. But I sort of take offense to the fact that there's not smart people or good people that have high education degrees that love professional wrestling. I am the only commentator in the history of professional wrestling that has a degree from Vanderbilt University. And what's funny is the folks at the Vanderbilt University Student Communications Center marks that up in my bio that I'm the only professional wrestling announcer ever to come out of Vanderbilt University. And that's a place that's brought us Buster Olney in baseball and, of course, Skip and the great football writer and the great sports writer. They've had some outstanding people come out of there. Not that I'm an outstanding person, but I'm the only one that's ever done professional wrestling. And it's always, we have a buddy over in Georgia, and he's a great guy. And the crying wrestling fan, Dave Willis. And the thing about it is, it's real to him. And I've had long conversations with him over the past 12, 14 years. And he really believes what he says. And I think our business right now has evolved and changed. We may not like everything that's happened, but by gosh, I love the fact that it is so worldwide, massively accepted among all genres, among all races, among all stratus, from the very rich to the very poor. You can't say that about any other sport, but boy, you can say that about professional wrestling and professional wrestling fans. And I salute you.
I wanted to throw that out there for sure. We started the show talking Tojo Yamamoto. We got a video. It's 1 minute, 57 seconds. It's on your screen, Adam. It should be the first one you see toward the top. It's Tojo reacts to a heated rib, and this is the funniest Tojo Yamamoto thing, we played it before, you've ever heard in your life.
Remember the time when we were wrestling in Jonesboro, Arkansas, and Jackie Fargo was on the card, and this is something I don't know if a lot of people realize, but we'd try to have a little fun in the dressing room.
There's no good Jackie Fargo. One time wait a minute, I go to the ring, and when I come back, I don't know what, I can't say the word, but when I wear my clothes, I jump up and down, everything. I thought somebody, Jackie Fargo put some hot pepper or something, and I drove from Jonesboro to Nashville, Tennessee, jumping up and down like that in my car. So after that, I find out, Jackie Fargo make me so mad. You the instigator.
Okay. What happened? Jackie Fargo went out to wrestle, and you and Jerry Jarrett took some of this. When you have an injury, they have this atomic bomb that you put on a bruise or something, and you guys put that all in Jackie's, in his underwear and things like that. Yes, you did.
Not me, not me. I know because it's tough for Jackie Fargo because he go in the ring, I see him doing all these things. I said, what's the matter, Jackie Fargo? He said, told you, I think you and Jerry Jarrett put something in my tights. I told Mr. Fargo, no, it was Jerry Jarrett.
But anyway, when you guys went to the ring, he doctored up your clothes, and you guys had to drive.
He doctored real good because from Jonesboro to Nashville, everything burned. I stopped maybe 50 times to cool off.
All right. Now, Michael, is that not Tojo in the bus, Tojo in the dressing room, Tojo in the car?
Absolutely. And the thing about it is he's so animated, and I love that about him. You could get in a conversation, and the boys used to stir him up. I mean, there were certain little things that you could poke at him with, and he would go off. And when he did, everybody would, act like they're surprised. And when he'd leave or when he'd go to the ring or whatever, they would say, God, that's how funny. How funny is that? We got Tojo going. We got Tojo going. But he was that I think, let me think the other side of that coin. He was a great ribber too. Not only was Jackie Fargo and Jerry Jarrett and Lawler, of course, loves to rib, but Tojo ribbed too. So there were a couple of stories that came out of Dallas on the bus of Tojo ribbing the boys, and I'm telling you, he was a character, but a great man.
Tojo didn't like to be ribbed, and I'll tell you a story, because Florida territory is known for a lot of ribs, and so that means Steve Kern did a lot of ribbons. And we're not going to get in stories you probably read, folks, on Facebook. I'm going to talk about something that I saw myself in Jackson, Tennessee on a Sunday night. So Steve Kern and Stan Lane, the big dressing room in Jackson, was split off by lockers, tall lockers, and so Rich and Kern shimming themselves up into the ceiling of the Jackson Coliseum, and they crawled over and opened one of the ceiling tiles where they could see Tojo. And so finally, on one side, said boom, they threw something, hit Tojo right in the head. And then Stan Lane did the thing, and he was jumping around, just settling, and then looking around whatever. And this Jeff Jarrett rookie year, he's in the dressing room. I'd never seen anything like that. So the longer it went, the madder Tojo got, the more heavy the stuff got. Finally, Tojo reached in that back, and Tojo got his pistol. Tojo always had his pistol, so he came up just like you see in the movies. And Tojo Yamamoto, folks, I am telling a story, so censors don't get uptight at all. It ends up, I'm going to just say, because I don't want to be kicked off here, but you no good son of a gun, Tojo kills you. You no good son of a gun, Tojo kills you. Finally, he sees up there, and he sees Kern and Lane, and he has that gun pointed at the talk and making threats. You no good son of a gun, you no good son of a gun. Finally, Jerry Jarrett came in, and he made the save and talked him down, and then all was forgotten. But it scared Jeff, and it scared Randy, and it scared a lot of people. You can imagine that. Have you heard that story?
Actually, I have, and I remember the story about him pulling the gun, and he had no idea where it was coming from. And that was the funny thing, because he'd turn and look, and about that time they'd throw something else from another direction, and he was like as if there were a ghost in there. But as I was told, but in fact, I think Jerry Jarrett was the one that told me that story. But that's a great Tojo, and it's a rib on Tojo. And let me tell you, I don't know what the residual of that was, but I guarantee you, down the line somewhere, Tojo got back at him. I don't know what that story is, but I guarantee you that he did.
Have you heard that story before, Chris?
No, I've never heard that. That's great, because I've been in the dressing room at the Jackson Coliseum, so I can visualize all this happening. So that's hilarious.
Hey, I don't know if we've ever had Thomas go in order, Adam, of Thomas's comments, and I'll let Michael help me with this, because his voice sounds like $1 million today, even though he made me think he couldn't hardly talk today. He lied to me. Thomas says, how did Jerry Jarrett manage both the Memphis and the Dallas end of the USWA territory from 88 through 90? Did the Memphis guys just go to Dallas to work the TV show and then back to Tennessee? Michael, can you do that question?
Well, first of all, it actually lasted a little bit longer into 91. And when it first started happening, when it all first came down, everybody was of the opinion, and I think Jerry was of the opinion, Jerry Jarrett was of the opinion, that he was going to run two sides of the territory, that he have boys on this side and boys on that side, just like they used to in the old days with the Memphis end and the Nashville end. And it just didn't work out that way. And I think in talking to Jerry about buying WCW or WCCW, I don't think he fully realized what the whole complexion of that thing was. With the Superstation channel 11 in Dallas having it, and then of course on the satellite. But I also think he realized that the Von Erichs were a big draw, but I don't think he realized that the Von Erichs were almost 90% of the business draw. And I know he had told me, and this was probably in '92, maybe 93, that had he had a chance to do that, if he could do that over again, that he would have been more inclined to have run one group of boys and then just, ship them out to, okay, you're doing Monday night in Dallas, Tuesday night in Houston, whatever the case may be. And I think he sort of, I'm not going to say he bit off more than he could chew, but I think he had more on his plate than he realized. And I think Randy West has a great insight on that too, because bless his heart, or I can remember the days in 88 and 89 with the doing the voiceovers and doing promos and all that stuff. Poor old Randy, I don't think he was getting 2 hours of sleep a night. He was stockpile full of stuff. So being that said, he ran it and did a good job. I think he did a masterful job of it, but I think it was really a bigger undertaking than he originally thought.
At that point, asked the question, Thomas asked the second follow-up to that question. Do the Memphis guys also work house shows in Texas? They certainly did the Sportatorium on Friday, and a lot of times Saturday, and Jeff Jarrett and Bill Dundee was both down a lot. And he asked the question, how did he manage both territories? He had Eric Embry book in Dallas,
right,
a lot of help to him. And then, of course, at different times, depending, Eddie Gilbert booked a short time in Memphis while the Texas thing was going on, and Jerry Lawler was also there as well. And when they first started doing the going to Texas, I got a funny story. Here, Lawler and Jeff was on Friday night, and they had we had them scheduled on TV, and I was laying out the TV, booking the TV, and so on Saturday morning, as a matter of fact, I woke up at some girl's house early Saturday morning with a phone call, and it was Jerry Lawler called me and having flight problems, and it hadn't left Dallas yet. So then he said, I'll keep you updated, and finally at 10 o'clock he said we won't be there to the middle of the show, rearrange. I said, okay, I'll rearrange. So I rearranged. I ended up with 6 or 7 formats, just handwritten, just doing quickly and retiming it and going with the thing. And finally, it was 7 minutes, no Lawler, no Jeff, and it was 4 minutes and no Lawler and no Jeff. Finally, coming out of the last break, we just went to maybe a minute into the break with a minute to go. Here they walk in, had their bags, they drop it on the floors, and I said, less than a minute. Jeff, I'm sorry. We'll get you on the tape after the show. Told all of the match for Monday. I said, fired up interview for Monday night. Go. Simple as that. So it did interfere. It did interfere for sure. I appreciate everybody commenting today.
Randy, an add on that add along. It's on Friday nights, after the Sportatorium show, the bus would take either the baby faces or the heels out of the arena and would leave the other half of us there. And most of the time I stayed back with whoever was staying back, and they would go to the Denny's over on the north side of Dallas, and then the bus would drop the boys off and they'd eat, and then they'd turn around and bring the empty bus back to the Sportatorium, take the heels or the baby whoever's left. They'd take them to the Denny's, and while they were getting them to the Denny's, the other boys would go out the back door and come around. The bus would roll around to the back of the Denny's, and the heels would get on, and the baby faces would eat. So they kept the kayfabe there. But I remember on several times that there were shows the next night in places like Waco and Denison. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Jerry stopped doing the Fort Worth show. I think the Von Erichs used to run the Fort Worth stockyards once a month. And I think Jerry stopped that after a while.
Originally, it was every Monday night town.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But by that time, it has changed. And I wanted to add, I had left before they started doing the bus. I never went to Dallas. Thomas wants to ask questions about 88, and we probably will start 88 in a couple of weeks. City by the Bay said, hey, if we could make any comments for this year's WrestleMania, who would like to see? I'll tell everybody we won't have time for that. I got a load of we've talked for 40 minutes, and we're really not into it, and that's fine as well. But Saturday night after the Elimination Chamber, Randy Hell Show will be live with a review of the 2025 Elimination Chamber from Toronto, Canada. So we will be there, be with you live coming up Saturday night with that question. Hey, one of the things in the mid-'80s, all of a sudden, and it ended up where he kind of traveled to the WWF, but he debuted in Memphis to debut of Downtown Bruno. This is a 20-minute video. As they didn't get right to it, as this is from November the 8th, 1986, and we're doing 87. This is Fred Ottman. Big Bubba, done a lot of stuff. He had health issues recently and was in the hospital. So prayers out to Big Bubba.
Gas in my car, right?
Holding the Mid-America Championship and the International Heavyweight Championship.
I'll get gas in the car. Up pulls this 63 Rambler, right? 4 doors, all of them a different color, primer, black smoke coming out of the back. And let me tell you something, the car looked better than the people that got out of it, all right? So I go inside to get a Coke. Let me tell you something, I go inside there, I stop dead in my tracks. Here I see the family that got out of the car. There's about 5 kids. The youngest one's got snot running down his nose onto his shirt. Let me tell you something. The mother's sitting over there. She must be everywhere, maybe about 18 years old. The only teeth left in her head were like rotten black pigs.
The tag team of Big Bubba and Goliath, the first
his name's probably Billy
team
Joe Bob or something
Bruno
like that. He's picking the wax out of his ear with this fork, all right? And on top of everything else, okay, this is typical Tennessee people, right? On top of everything else, sitting in the booth next to him, I see a brother, right? And he goes, hey, man, he says, I seen you on TV. You're Big Bubba.
Michael, did you ever get to know Big Bubba, Fred Ottman?
I'm eating a fortune cookie. And I said, really? And Lance Russell, you know what he had in front of him? He had a piece of cornbread with a food stamp in the middle of it.
Microphone was muted.
A food stamp, a fortune cookie. Hey, but wait. Hey, best of all, let me tell you something. I met this a person this morning that these people be greatly interested in, okay? All right?
Michael, I'm on
This man is incredible, all right?
Did you get a chance to meet Big Bubba?
Yes, I did, and I remember when Downtown Bruno came into the territory. He really made more of an impact. I think when you look back on it, he made more of an impact as he went on because he became this nerdy little guy that everybody hated.
Here we go.
I heard about Downtown Bruno.
Crazy, I am Downtown Bruno. Hey, I want to tell you something. This man is so bad. This man is fine. They were going to use him. They were going to use this man for the U.S. Steel Building I-beams downtown Pittsburgh, baby. But I said, you'll make more money as a wrestler because this is my friend, see? And this is my first time here in Memphis, brother, for the CWA. And I tell you what,
Everybody in the South is going to see who the man is, me, and the man behind the man. And there's other men, brother. There's other men besides this man. He's going to get Jerry to Queen Lawler, and he's going to hurt him. He's going to be dissing on him something fierce, brother. And you want to see somebody even bigger than this man? Do you believe that there's somebody?
Well, yeah, I know that there are people bigger than, but nobody that I think that you know. He's from downtown Pittsburgh, downtown Bruno.
Downtown Pittsburgh, downtown Bruno. You want to know somebody else from 422 Boulevard, baby? Downtown Pittsburgh, chilling a little bit. You want to see somebody big as this man? Listen.
Okay, fine. Bring him out.
Hey, Goliath, come on out, baby. Come on out,
Now,
baby.
who is this that you are bringing out?
This is the mighty Goliath, baby. 414 pounds, 7 foot tall, walking, talking, roping, stomping, downtown graveyard destruction, baby. This man, I found this man headbutting a garbage dumpster on 422 Boulevard, downtown Pittsburgh, baby. He made a bigger dent in the dumpster than the dumpster made in his head, baby. I can make some money if I make this man into a professional, top-rated, talented professional wrestler. And now he's got the World Super Heavyweight Championship, brother, and we are the champions. Look, 1, 2, 3. I got so many belts here. Everybody in this audience can hold up their pants for a year, brother. We got belts, we got titles, and we won this from Abdullah the Butcher in San Juan, Puerto Rico, baby. And nobody can beat us, and there's nobody as big as this man, and nobody as big as this man. This is my dream team, baby, my brotherhood. See, I'm expanding my brotherhood. I had a brotherhood on the streets of downtown Pittsburgh, see? Brotherhood. We had an escort service, see, for ladies. It came out in the evening. And I'm expanding the brotherhood.
Have he worked anywhere before here?
South. Professional wrestler
Worked
right
in
here.
Hawaii and worked
So
in
that's where it
Canada.
all came from,
At
was
this
from the
point, I don't
brotherhood
think
in
he'd been
Pittsburgh.
to
And
Kansas
Brotherhood in
I think
Pittsburgh, baby, the downtown connection.
you got a couple of bookends there. There's no question
he was
about
fired.
that.
I mean, the
What
first
kind of
time.
nerve is it that these guys can come out during my time? My time.
How did Jerry Lawler get wind of
They've
him?
had a look at the world super heavyweight champion. They, of course, know
Lawler
Big
was
Bubba,
on the
and
show in Hawaii.
if he's a friend of yours, I guess that tells us all about
yeah,
About
they're
the
all
Rock's
bad,
mother was
baby.
promoting
Yeah,
it.
Rock
And they
it.
met
That's
me,
right.
and he
Okay,
kept
well, you have
sending-
got a tag
calling
match
the
coming up
office,
here
and I
in
talked to
which
him 100
Goliath
times,
and Big
finally,
Bubba will be
Lawler had
partners. with
forgotten
him.
me, and then he
1,000
went
pounds
and
of
we saw
pussy
the
appeal, a little bit of
pictures.
sex appeal.
And
Oh, yeah,
Lawler
baby, get it
showed
right.
them to me and said, what do you
Okay, you
think?
saw him right
And
there.
I
There's no
said,
question. That is a big set of bookends right there with Big Bubba and
I
Goliath.
said,
Dave,
book
I
him.
do not
So we
for
booked
1
him.
second envy their opponents in there today.
Nor do any of us,
All
I
right.
don't think. Robert and Randy
He's from
Bryant
Walls,
from Martlet,
Mississippi,
Tennessee.
so
They weigh in
he
at a
grew
total
up
of
on Memphis and went
474
to work
pounds
elsewhere
over on one
first.
side of the ring, and they are
no,
watching
he
their
just
opponent
once he
step
came
through
to
the
Memphis
ropes
for
right now
86.
with downtown
He's never
Bruno.
left. He didn't really work
Their
in the
manager
WWE. He kept his
Big
home
Bubba
in Walls,
weighs in at
Mississippi.
407. He's 6 foot
He's
7 out of
from
Miami, Florida.
Pittsburgh.
And it's
That's a shoot.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no,
So
that's a
different,
huge-
because he doesn't talk like he's from Pittsburgh.
No, that's a shoot. I know for a fact he's a Pittsburghian.
That is
He's a big
Goliath
Steelers
passing
fan.
out now what is the World Super Heavyweight Championship belt. That's the
You know
biggest
what's
belt
funny
I ever
about
saw,
Bruno?
too.
I always
gotta
liked
tell
him.
you,
There
you
were,
have to
I
be
think
that
the
big in
boys,
order to wear that
some of the
belt.
boys
That
had a
belt
rub
is
with him.
unbelievable.
But I always
Oh,
thought that he was
here
just,
is downtown
he did his
Bruno
job
bringing 'em all over.
perfectly. He was a combination of Paul Weingroff and Kirk
Well,
Clemens.
I think
He
we
was
can handle the commentary, but I'm
He
sure
was a
that that's
weasel,
not going to dissuade
but he
you
was a
for
little
minute.
guy that everybody just would like to punch him in the mouth.
Okay.
We'll see
As
what he has to
Adam
say.
has a good comment that's true.
There's not a whole lot we can do
He
about
said
it.
he thought, and I think so too, that Mark Curtis,
Look at the
Brian
mighty Goliath,
Hildebrand,
the
was a
man, the
part
man
of the
of
Smoky
steel.
Mountain
Look at him. Look at him. What do you think,
He was
Lancer?
also a
Tell me,
great
bro.
Well,
referee
there's no
for
question about
other
it. It's
places,
the two biggest
including
guys that I've ever seen
WCW.
together anywhere.
Bruno and Mark
Oh, yeah,
Brian
baby.
Hildebrand
Okay,
lived
yeah, that's
together
right. That's
near
right. Take it, brother. It don't
back
hurt.
in the
Take it.
Pittsburgh
That's
days,
it.
and that's
This is a joke. This is ridiculous. This is like this is like me taking on a 10-year-old. That's what this is. Look at these. Look at this guy with the
Is
stars
this the
on his
first
face.
time that
All these stars
Bubba
in this
has
guy's
worked?
life.
Because he's in the
Start
wrong
these things,
corner.
if you just took
This
a
is the first
heck of
time
a
he's worked
beating,
TV in
brother, a
Memphis.
heck of a beating.
Thank you for watching your language. The
Yeah,
Brian,
Bubba and Goliath
Randy and
both.
Robert,
But to tell you
who
the
are
truth,
battling
They're
against
in the wrong corner.
two of the
that's the
biggest guys
referee's
you've ever
problem.
seen. I
Who is
thought
that referee,
Bubba
Adam?
had to be one of the
So
the
I was
biggest
fixing to ask
mountains
that
I've
question
seen
next.
walking around at 407. Goliath is even
I can't
bigger
really tell.
than Big Bubba.
It's hard to even find a skill to weigh these guys, brother. It's hard. You just can't go over 1,000
blame
pounds when you
the
have to make
referee.
your
It's not Bert. It's not Bert
Bubba
Prentice,
taking
is it?
over on the gig,
No.
brother. Bubba taking over. I mean, he's doing a good job. Doing a good job. This referee just ought to butt out of the match because it's really none of his business what's going on. We don't go for authority downtown Pittsburgh, baby. And as far as I'm concerned, this ring is just like downtown Pittsburgh, 422 Boulevard, baby. We rock and roll.
Whoa, look at that drop kick from Big Bubba. It stuns me that a guy that big can lay a drop kick.
He keeps
out
referring
there.
to Fort Duquesne Boulevard back in the day. That was the red light district in Pittsburgh.
Jerry is in the middle of all of this big action.
Jerry
with
Vickers.
Bubba and Goliath.
Jerry
Boy,
Vickers
I
was
tell you,
former
you
medic.
won't run into a tag team
As a student, he was a
anywhere in the
medic.
world that's
And
any bigger than this team.
it was Jerry Lawler back in the day.
Everybody says, yeah, but David beat Goliath in the
They
Bible.
they
Yeah, but
met,
David needed
and
a
he
foreign
showed
object.
Lawler his first pair of wrestling boots.
Look at Goliath go up with a drop kick.
Is he the guy that he went over and wrestled for in West Memphis, Jerry Vickers?
With
Yeah.
an impressive
Okay,
drop
now I
kick.
know who that guy is.
Guys that run over 400 pounds in the air.
That's my downtown connection, baby. That's the brotherhood. That's the brotherhood. That's right. Oh, yeah. Beat him, baby. Beat him. Beat him. Beat him.
Drop that
Beat him
big
good.
Bubba
Fred's
leg on
Fred's
him.
wearing the Steelers
Down he
colors.
goes
Like
for
to
a
go.
count of one, count of two.
That's right. Play with him for a while.
Picks him up at the count of two.
Michael,
And now
I'll ask you and Chris
here's the
both this
tag
question.
on
The
Goliath.
formula of most TV matches are one-sided matches in the competitive matches that the guys film. Now you see pay-per-view quality matches
Right
on
down
television
top of him, and
all
that's
the
gonna be
time.
I'll be back.
Well,
These matches
they
that are not
they are a couple of
competitive
big guys.
was a
And
way
they come
to
out
get
with
the
a victory
talent
in
over.
there.
Do you
But
miss
know,
those days?
I really don't think they're
And
the
was it
biggest two
easier
guys
then
that
to
I've
get
ever
over?
seen.
That's a
Has
new
Goliath
thing.
ever seen anybody?
The
wrestling
squash
for that
matches
title
always
any
put them
bigger
over.
than
I
he
mean,
is?
you're absolutely
Never,
right
right?
about that.
Well,
I sort of
he's
like the
been
more
around. I
competitive
got a
matches
gentleman
myself,
I'd like
at
for
least
him
to
to
where
meet
there is some
named,
kind of a semblance
Giant
of
Hillbilly. I think
competition
Giant
instead of
Hillbilly.
just a
You had
total
winners
squash.
right there,
But I think back then it was
and I
easier to
don't
get
think there
somebody
was too
over
much
than it
doubt
is
as the
today.
Bryant brothers really had not too much of a chance against a couple of mountains and buildings like that. We're going to
Okay,
take time out, and
let's
we're
get
going
out
to be
of
back.
that
We appreciate
video
you being
right
here
now,
downtown Bruno.
and
We'll
we'll
see
start
you
with
a
Chris.
little later on in the
Now,
week.
how
And
would
right now,
you
we'll take
rate in school grades that performance?
I give Bruno a B plus for first time being on Memphis TV. He was very comfortable talking. I thought he did pretty well. Fred and Goliath, not so much. I'd give them a C minus maybe. I don't know. I wasn't really proud. I mean, you're in the wrong corner, which is the referee's fault. But as a guy that grew up on Memphis wrestling, you know, I just that hits
That
me
didn't
wrong.
bother me at all, and
Yeah.
we had done that. It would have been our fault.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, as a fan, like, because I was a fan, and that's what I was used to. But I didn't think Goliath. I'd say Fred was probably better than Goliath.
I thought Fred was better than Bruno. I thought Bruno grew to a great talker. I didn't like that interview.
Well, I thought for his first one, it was pretty good.
I don't know if I'd say pretty good. I'd say average.
Okay.
I agree
But
with
it
you. I agree
became
with you, Randy.
A plus. I've seen A plus interviews, and I thought of the three, Bubba by far did the best job. I didn't think Bob or Goliath did a very good job at all.
So, Randy, you asked the question about squash matches compared to competitive matches. You know, I was always a heel fan. I think the difference now, they have the competitive matches, but the heels don't get any heat because of political correctness. They can't, like Bubba's interview right there, he started off talking about the family getting out of the car and insulting them. That's what gets off at him. You can't do that anymore. So I think it's harder to make heels because of that fact, in my opinion, as a fan. Again, that's my perspective as a fan.
All right, Bruno, a lot of interest. Michael, did you want to say something else?
No, I just was going to add to what Chris was saying, and I agree. I think Bruno, I gave him a B, but I think he was a little bit, he sort of lost his way in that interview at a couple of times, at a couple of points. But to Chris's point, I think that the heels in today's wrestling get a different kind of heat than the heels back then. They still get heat, and they still get under people's skin, but it's a whole different genre of heat than what you and I grew up on.
Bruno did so many classic things. How about the situation when he became involved? This was, for its time, unique, especially for Memphis wrestling. This is Emily Arthur in downtown Bruno, 9 minutes, 54 seconds. This is from the end of December 1986, from the WMC, December 20th,
Jerry
1986.
Bryant and the Brown Clown Mambo Lip Lou Winston. Let me tell you something, guys. Now you know what kind of professional wrestler I am. Now you know how bad I am. Now you know how tough I am. And like I said, anytime, any way, any place, another match, I want it. I need it. I want you in that ring because I didn't finish the job. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to make you suffer. Now I hear something about it.
You have another match that will be around. It'll be the Memphis Vice, Bryant and Winston, and a mystery partner.
And a mystery partner. See, okay. Now, first of all, we don't need no mystery. We got the mighty 417-pound Goliath. We got the mighty 407-pound Big Bob, and we got downtown Bruno, 135 pounds of walking, talking, roping, stomping, downtown destruction. Okay. Now, I want to know, hey, I know, I'll tell you, I want to know who this mystery partner is, okay? Because we want to know, and I know you have a lot of pull around here. I know you always get your nubby nose into everybody's business. So you tell me who the mystery partner is.
Bruno, I do not know.
What, you just stand here and lie to me?
Well, hey, look, I'm telling you, it says right on here, it says Memphis Vice and mystery partner.
Yeah, that's what it says on there. But you're always getting your nubby nose in everybody else's business, and I know that you're... Is it Lawler? Is Lawler the mystery partner?
I don't know.
Wait, what are you standing here lying to me for? I'm tired of you standing here lying. Wait a minute. Okay, who is it? Is it David Razor? Is it David Razor? Is that who it is? Who is it? Wait.
How many times do I have to tell you? I do
Until you
not
quit
know.
lying. Are they bringing some brown clown in from Pittsburgh?
I don't.
Who is it? Hey,
Maybe an old.
Hey, and if they're using
Memphis of yours.
Yeah. In fact, it
Brown
might be, but I don't
clown?
know. Hey, who are they bringing
Yeah,
in?
what we said
Who is
today.
the mystery partner?
It's got you worried.
No, it's got me mad because you're standing here lying to me, brother. He's standing here lying to me because we want to know who this mystery partner is so we can train right. And you're going to stand here and look me in the eye and you're going to lie to me? You're going to lie to
Look
me?
in the eye, tell you I don't know who it is, Bruno. Now let's not just drag
Well, I'm a little bit disgusted.
RH, I should know this, but who spread out Altman's brother-in-law?
These guys are on top, huh?
Say that again.
Fred Ottman, who's like his brother-in-law. He's kin to somebody he's a wrestler.
Dusty.
15 of them and 25 more like him if I wanted to. But we don't need no mystery because I'm downtown Bruno and I'm one heck of a wrestler by myself. And these two are so great, I might not even need to get in a ring.
You see how much better?
I want to know who this mystery partner is.
I don't know. And look, you guys
See how much better Bruno is on this interview just a couple of months later? Mike?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he's getting heat. He's getting heat with Lance.
Yes.
F-O-R-T-D-U-Q-E-S-N-E, not 42 nothing hillbillies.
Fort Duquesne downtown. Okay, Dave.
The mystery partner, that's what it's all about today, right?
Hey, he's driving me crazy. Will you tell us who the mystery partner is, for crying out loud? Bruno is standing out here ready to climb my frame. What do you mean you don't know?
Jerry
You're
Bryant, the
going
late
into a match
Jerry
and you don't know who
Bryant,
your
my
partner
good
is?
We're
friend,
counting out here today,
and
folks.
Lou
Find out
Winston,
who our mystery
a
partner's
great
gonna be.
great
You know what I
tag
mean?
team,
Let me ask the
a
audience,
great
hey, let me
team,
ask y'all a
the
question
Memphis
out
Vice.
there now. How many people out there think they can whoop downtown Bruno? Huh?
Is that enough? What's that got to do with
I want
it?
to ask another question. I want y'all to listen real careful. Real carefully, I want y'all to listen to this. How many people out there would like to have the chance to whoop downtown Bruno? Huh?
Hey, now wait a minute. I'm getting a glimmer. You guys don't know who your partner is, and you're asking questions like that?
Just in a few short minutes, we're going to find out who our mystery partner will be, right?
Okay, what we want to do is make the ultimate fool out of downtown Bruno by showing him somebody out here in this audience can beat his brains out. How about that?
If you guys talk to Eddie Marlin...
For many years, Lou ran a bar across from the New Ages Theater on Bill Street in Memphis.
It's fixing to be the Memphis Vice partner. Lance, let us go pick out.
You're not serious about that. Davey, can we switch microphones here and let me...
I agree with Todd that Jerry did look like Eddie Gilbert there.
Hey,
Then I would say Earthquake was a better tag team partner.
5'11".
For Big Brother.
I'm going back to my microphone. I think it's got a longer cord. 511 pounds. Let me see how far I can get over here.
Lance just makes this all that
I
much
can
better.
see. Wait a minute. There. Hey,
Understatement.
are you
Amazing.
guys? I'm not a chauvinist, but that's a girl. That's a lady. Hey, come on now. Are you serious? You guys serious?
We love it. This is the ultimate.
Wait, I'm sorry. Lou, let's step around here. We're going to be shooting right across the ring here.
What's your name?
Emily.
Wait a minute. What is
Emily. Emily Arthur.
it? Emily Arthur. You know what you did. You put your hand up and said, I can beat downtown Bruno and give me a chance.
Emily, I promise you this. Big Dumbo 1 and Dumbo 2 will not touch you. We'll keep, I promise you, nobody.
Now, wait a minute.
I promise you that.
This-
All we want you to do is to get your hands on downtown Bruno and spank him. Beat his brains out. Emily's going to be our mystery partner, downtown Bruno. You better listen.
You're about to get this young lady in trouble, Emily, with all due respect.
Nobody will
But,
touch
well,
you.
maybe I'm wrong. Are you a professional wrestler, Emily?
Absolutely not. No, sir.
Come on now. Hey,
No,
huh?
absolutely not. Only
Have you ever
background of
wrestled before?
wrestling's just been to the matches on TV.
Okay. What do you do for a living? If you're not a professional wrestling, are you in some related field?
Computer operator.
Huh? Are you a computer operator? You guys better check this with Eddie Marlin before you
God.
get into that.
Jerry Bryant was friends with her and found
I
her.
am not really certain, but this lady has been.
What are you talking
She has been picked. She thinks she can beat you.
She can beat me.
And they're going to give her the chance, Bruno.
I want to tell you something, Lance Russell. When I was growing up on 42K Boulevard, brother, I had a lot of ladies working for me, and I had to beat a lot of ladies to keep them in line. And she wouldn't last 10 minutes on 42K Boulevard. And I'll tell you something, I'm going to pretend that Sports Circle's 42K Boulevard if she's really serious, and I will beat her brains out. And I want to tell you something, Eddie Marlin better have a heck of a lot of insurance, because I don't want to be responsible when we bust both our arms, both our legs, and our head. And I didn't mean to spit in your eye, Lance Russell, but the way it is she's going to get hurt. She's going to suffer, and these two are going to take her, and they're going to give her the big splash. Once, twice, 3 times. And she's going to be so far into the grind, she's going to be looking up towards the ceiling. She's going to wonder why she's with downtown Bruno, the downtown connection. And she's going to wish she was on 42K Boulevard, because at least you can make some money down there. And I'm disgusted. I thought they were
Getting a little discussion with your
Let me explain something to you. This man takes care of this sleaze bag you got out here. But these guys got the gall to bring out the audience. Let me tell you something. After he takes care of her, me and Goliath are going to have her. And let me tell you, when we're finished with you, you're going to make sure you'll be sorry. First time you come to a wrestling match, you'll be a wrestler.
Yes, Richard, I do remember it.
right off the bat.
But that's round talk, Fred Ottman. And he was called Big Bubba back then. I never knew his name was Fred, to tell you the truth.
I love it. Right?
Are you still going?
I guarantee you nobody in that dressing room or in the office, nobody called him Fred. It was Bubba.
All right. Helen Newland, the Memphis by JB. All right. Yes, sir.
Hey, are you willing to sign the release that you're going to have to about injury in the ring?
Big
Because
Bubba was.
we had this situation once before with Andy Kaufman. I'm not really believing what I've seen, but Emily, I'm not certain her last name, Emily Arthur, I believe. Yeah, that's right, Emily Arthur. Thank you for the little help. She has volunteered to join them, and they're acting like it. She's still sitting over there telling everybody she's sitting around. She's going to be right there. Anyhow, she's got all that release. I can't believe it. I want to talk to Eddie myself about it. We're going to take time. Do we take time out? I'm a little confused right here. We'll take time out, and we'll be back in a moment.
Don't you love Lance in that that double-breasted suit? God, he looks so good.
Yeah, fantastic. What did you think about that segment, Chris?
Oh yeah, it's fabulous, and I mean, like no one saw it coming. Saturday morning Memphis Wrestling Studio. Expect the unexpected. You never knew what was going to happen next, and like I said about Lance a while ago, he's like the ringmaster. Like at the circus, that's Lance. He's got like a 3-ring circus. You got the ring, you got the interview area, you got the crowd, you got whatever. He's trying to put it all together, and then like right then he makes it more authentic because he goes, "Yeah, even I'm confused. We take a break. Let's take a break." He makes it even better, just instinctively.
I always thought Lance was a master at herding cats. I mean, it could go crazy all over the place, and Lance was still in control. The thing about downtown Bruno is that, and I'm going to ask a question of this, Randy. Did this program draw money?
It wasn't on top, maybe third or fourth from the top. It was a time period that did do good. Absolutely.
So
it was part of the package.
Gotcha.
I looked it up, Randy, after you sent the notes to prepare for the show. I think the first time they did this, I don't know if they did it more than once, but the following Monday, it drew like 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah, and that's about what we were doing during that time period, and it would get better for sure. Now we talked about this last week, and because Michael St. John is involved in this, we're going to jump about 10 years, 11 years to 1997, to the dying days of the USWA. There wasn't many live shows left. Dave was gone, Corey was gone, RH was gone, a lot of people was gone. This is involving Bruno. This is 1 minute, 6 seconds. We'll keep our mouth shut until we get out of this. And let me say, this was real, as real can be. And we'll come back with Michael St. John to comment, because I wasn't there. Chris wasn't there. Chris probably didn't watch it on TV, and neither did I. Let's watch now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
The massive Doomsday, part of Team Icon. Dutch Mantel said that he will put that title on the line, or Doomsday will put that title on the line, any place, anywhere. You got to tag. Holy, what the heck is going on here? Downtown Bruno has just Bruno. Hey, you guys, hey, break it up, break it up. Come, Bruno. Downtown Bruno has just attacked Tony Freeman.
This was the first midnight show, September 6, 1997.
Can we get some help out here for Tony? Let's take this break.
Look at Michael St. John's shoes.
He missed the game. He was 28 years before his time. Everybody wears tennis shoes with a suit now.
I always loved doing that. That was sort of I took a lot of ribbing for that. You know what's funny about that is when it happened, I did not realize it was a shoot. I thought that they just didn't want me to know so I could react spontaneously to it happening. So I really didn't think that I just thought it was part of the show. Well, hell no, it was not part of the show. And as after we went to break and they came out and told me that, that Bruno went after the guy, it was like hard for me to comprehend. Now what do I say? Now I know the truth. Now how do I sell it? Now how do I get, and I'll tell you that was when it happened, I thought, like I said, I thought it was something that, okay, they're just keeping this from me because they want an honest reaction. But then after I found out that nobody knew anything about it except Bruno. But that is a classic, in my opinion, that is one of the classic moments of Memphis wrestling in the very, very latter days. I think that is a classic moment, and it was a shoot.
Did they draw money? Did they ever wrestle each other?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they. In fact, I don't remember Tony being back on the set with me after that show. I don't think it ever. I don't think they ever made anything of it because Bruno was hot, and I forget exactly why he was hot, but he had a reason to be. And he
He
was in the
didn't like
back.
Larry Burton. He
Right.
didn't like what was going on. Larry Burton brought Tony Friedman in, and he also had his own referees. And Bruno Darty that same morning knocked the shit in the ENG room, knocked the shit out of Larry Burton, the general manager. And then he's looking at the screen and that Tony Friedman and you and Bruno said, who did he ever beat to be on live TV hosting this show with Michael St. John? That's ridiculous. And Lawler stirred him up and said, oh, yeah, why did Burton do that? And Bruno said, I'll go out there and kick his ass. And Lawler said, there you go talking again. You're not going to do it. Bruno said, will I get fired? And he gave Lawler his watch or his bilbo or whatever the case, and went out there and it's the same thing. We all have had fights when you don't know that something's coming. You don't know something's coming, and you're off guard, and that's the same thing. And that might have been Tony Friedman's first time anybody ever hit him in his life. He looked to me like he'd been sheltered, type of thing. And Bruno grew up in Pittsburgh, and a little guy. I'm sure he's had to fight for everything he got.
I was amazed watching that, how quick I was getting out of the way. I mean, I don't think I'd moved that fast in a long time. But Bruno was coming full speed. When he hit the door, he was coming full speed at the table. And I knew that, something is going on and he's going to come over the table. He did. And I got out of the way. But like I said, until we went to break, I had no idea that was not part of the show.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, I mean, I've never seen that clip because at that time I lived in South Arkansas and we didn't get Memphis TV. So I had never seen that. And then I didn't even know who that guy was. So I was trying to figure out Bruno was a referee at the time. Why is he jumping on, like, what's the story behind it? Well, now I know there wasn't one.
No. Lawler sometimes like that. He's just to give himself a laugh. And I don't think he really thought Bruno would do it. Certainly. I would have said to Bruno, I said, no, Bruno, not on television. If you have a problem with him, when he gets back, go in the bathroom and take care of it. That's how I would have handled it. But Lawler wanted it on TV, and Lawler wanted to see it, and that's just the way it was.
It goes back to a clip you showed at the beginning of the show, Tojo Yamamoto pointing at Jerry Lawler and saying, you instigator. Right. Jerry was a great instigator. He was a great instigator.
1987 was a great, I'm looking at the time here, and we'll try to run through this, and if everybody can stay, we're either going to split this up or we'll get through it. It starts in 87 with the Rich Idol Lawler feud. Is Rich and Idol hurting Lawler 4 minutes and 28 seconds on Talking Memphis
We're interrupting
Wrestling.
our regular championship wrestling program because of an incident that was of such magnitude that I know that as wrestling fans you'll want to know about it. Jerry Lawler was scheduled to go in 2 separate matches on the same evening, one with Wildfire Tommy Rich, the other with Austin Idol, the Universal Heartthrob, on the same evening with these two gentlemen in a situation in the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. Now, as the matches took place, an incident occurred while Idol was in the ring with Jerry the King Lawler. Let's go now to some videotape and take a look at the incident that took place. Here it is.
In the corner again, Rich goes after Lawler. Referee Jerry Calhoun shoved down hard by Tommy. Lawler throws the ball of fire at Rich. 10 minutes, 54 seconds. Disqualification on Lawler. The Rich is going to be the winner by disqualification. Rich are teaming up on Lawler now. Goes Calhoun out on the concrete. Rich rolling Lawler over. He and Idol are up to something. Look out! Oh, no. Rich on one leg, Idol on the other, and they slam Lawler, straddle that ring post.
Well, certainly not an incident that anyone should be proud of. Double team of Lawler in a what may be a career-ending injury. Now, just to be perfectly honest, to tell you what happened, the diagnosis was a ruptured. Jerry had to undergo surgery on Tuesday morning. The outcome and what it's going to affect on his career, we don't know at this time. We'll have to hear from the doctors later. Randy Hales at the Mid-South Coliseum, following that incident, tried to get an interview with Austin Idol and Tommy Rich. Let's take a listen to what happened.
Hey, I wanted to get the cameras back here in the dressing room of the Mid-South Coliseum to talk to Idol and Rich about that disgusting thing they did to Jerry Lawler. Hey, we want to talk to you guys about what happened, Tommy Rich and Austin Idol. What happened to Lawler?
Get out of here! We ain't got nothing. You come in this room by invitation only. Get out!
Well, there it is. Jerry Lawler is out of wrestling action now. And for how long? Well, the doctors will have to tell us after the operation. I can tell you this, that the commission reviewed the incident that took place. Austin Idol and Tommy Rich, each one has been fined $2,500 as a result of it. And there may be other actions, disciplinary, that will take place following that. But that's the situation as of this moment.
This was on the loop end, the bicycle end of the territory. Lawler was out with the heat, and he was out selling. He came back. He ended up hurting Rich. He had thrown fire from Rich, broke his arm, and that sort of thing. That simple angle, just a nut shot into the deal, is what kick-started the heat and the angle. Do you remember that, or were you gone then too, Chris?
No, I was in college. It's 1987. I was about to turn 21. I remember this vividly because I remember thinking, like, Lawler's hurt bad, because you put yourself in that position and they rack you on the ring post, it's going to hurt like hell and you're going to be down. So, I mean, there was no doubt. And the other thing that went through my mind, I never did care for Austin Idol. I wasn't a fan, no matter what. I mean, I just never was. But Tommy Rich was a great baby face when I was a kid. But I think he was a better heel when I got older. I thought he was really good. With him and Lawler during this run right here, I thought Tommy Rich was great.
Michael? Let's unmute Michael. Michael, let me do there, you're unmuted.
Tommy Rich was such a great babyface on Georgia Championship Wrestling. I think when he went heel in Memphis after that run, shocked everybody. So I think him going heel, him turning heel was even a bigger impact because of where he had already been. You mentioned about Mike McCoy, Austin Idol. I never thought Austin Idol was a great wrestler, but I always thought he could sell like a son of a gun. And in fact, when I got to St. Louis in 1992, I found a disc jockey who was DJing at a club in Sauget, Illinois, a gentleman's club, and he wanted to be in radio. And he's an award-winning author. You've seen him. He was on the E! Entertainment TV. He was the host of Whammy, the game show. He's the guy that travels along with The Price is Right when they come to your city and they do an arena show. His name is Todd Newton. I named him Rick Idol. And it hooked. It took. And then Rick actually did a couple of wrestling things down in Tampa. But the fact of the matter is, Austin Idol had that charisma. and I don't disagree with you, Coach. I don't think he was a great wrestler, but I did think he had charisma. But I thought Austin Idol was better in Memphis as a heel than he ever was in his career, whether it was in Mobile, whether it was in Tampa, whatever the case may be. I thought as a heel in Memphis, it was a good turn, and I agree that Tommy Rich, in my opinion, made a better heel. But I think what led to it was the fact that he was so over as a babyface. So when he turned heel, everybody was like,
I want to get right into this because this is a rare 31-minute 50-second match. It started with the setup and the long feud going into this thing. And before I get to that, Adam asked, how did the plane crash affect his career? He was wrestling as Mike McCord, and then as he recuperated, he worked on his body and worked on his personality and invented the Austin Idol character. And I'm not positive at all he would have ever become Austin Idol if it wasn't for that plane wreck. Do you agree with that, Michael?
yes. And I'll say something else. Our good friend Mike Mooneyham over in South Carolina that writes for the Columbia, South Carolina paper, does a great wrestling article. If you've never read any of his books, he's outstanding. He just did a story about that plane crash just a week or so ago in his Sunday edition, and I read the whole thing and actually learned a couple of things that I did not know. You know, Buddy Colt died in that wreck. They had been diverted. There was a storm system coming into Tampa. It was about 10 o'clock at night, and they were diverted to the island airport just south of Tampa International, and they were going to land there. And as he was coming in, they never landed there before, and the pilot, who I think was Buddy Colt,
Yes, it was.
misjudged the runway. He misjudged where the runway was and went down in the drink like 200 yards short of the runway. And Buddy Colt died. In fact, I think he was trapped in the plane.
Buddy Colt did not die. Bobby Shane died.
Bobby Shane died. I apologize. Okay, I apologize. Bobby Shane died. But Buddy Colt tried to free Bobby Shane, and Mike McCord, I think, broke his leg in the crash, but yet swam 200 yards to shore and, help, of course, after the plane went down. But I'm like you, Randy. I seem to think that the plane crash may have just completely turned his career, and ultimately he made something of it.
Randy West was watching earlier. Hope Randy Dandy, who was under the weather a couple of weeks ago. I think he's doing well. He's got him a new vehicle recently, so he and Diane are styling and profiling on Gallatin Road there in Hendersonville, Tennessee. 31 minutes, 56 seconds. Hair versus hair. A new cage. Eddie Marlin had constructed and designed the cage. This was a major event at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm talking Memphis Wrestling.
And here we go. Lance Russell, history-making battle in the cage.
No question about it. A first of all, I don't know of any professional sports where they have ever had anybody guarantee an admission refund on a certain outcome of the match, and that's what it is on this match here. History in the making, another first for great championship wrestling out of the Mid-South area. Eddie Marlin has booked it, hair versus hair. Austin Idol has put up over $50,000 to guarantee that if he does not defeat Lawler and shave his head, his hair will go, and he will refund the money of every person in the Mid-South Coliseum. And let me tell you, we are talking over $50,000.
There's a young Paul Heyman with the microphone there, Michael. Hey, Chris, this is unusual for this show. We're playing a 31-minute match.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that is a figment of his imagination. The referee has ruled Dangerly will not be inside the cage. Austin Idol, Jerry Lawler, and referee Jerry Calhoun. Idol trying to kick the chain loose over there, dangerously going at it. And the ref, oh, look at this. Lawler right behind Idol, grabs him, slams him into the door. You want it, you got it. And Idol running from Lawler, trying to get out the door.
I didn't think Paul Lee could be political enough and get along with people enough to go as far as he did.
I think he's changed over the years.
I think he got smarter. I think he's still a political machine. But he knows how to play the game.
Pumped up for this one because he is off and running.
Off and running's right. We both talked to him before the match, and he is geared up and ready to go. And he has Austin Idol right from the beginning going. The King is fired up. Hair versus hair, and Idol and Lawler to battle in this brand new cage, Lance.
And I will tell you, a 12-foot high cage. And here they come, right at us as Lawler slams Idol's head into this substantial cage directly in front of us. Lawler going for the pile driver, and Idol gets away from it. The King, who defeated Idol in their last outing for the Southern Heavyweight title. That was a chain match in which Lawler showed him what a chain match his style was. Paul dangerously screaming, "Give me the key, give me the key." No way.
Yeah. Greg, this is the one where a fan came,
being blitzed by
the audience came down from the very top balcony to climb the cage and they knocked him out.
Like he's
Absolutely true.
The left eye open. Yeah, Idol bleeding now. Blood in his left eye and down his nose. Idol missing a wild right hand. Again, as Lawler steps back, jabs him continuously. The King covers 1, 2, and Idol is out. First major threat in the match. Lawler covering Idol. In this anything goes match, kicking away at Jerry Lawler. Ah, Jerry slipped a little back kick in there of his own. Pounds Austin. Just past the 5-minute mark in this match. Austin Idol head popped off the top turnbuckle on the far side of the ring from us. And Lawler pounding away. No wrestling. Just pounding, pounding. So much at
Chris, this looks a lot better than the old cage we used to use, the wooden cage, correct?
Oh, yeah, it's a much better cage than the other one. The one had all the boards in it. And it was so flimsy.
It looked like it to me, and I think he has it, Lance. Yeah, he nails Lawler. The King down.
It wasn't a chain. It looked like it was like a roll of dimes or something. And Lawler down on his back for really the first time in this bout. jabs Lawler in the midsection while Dangerly trying to take the door off. And Jerry again slammed into that ring post. With the blood running down his face, the heartthrob is really going after Lawler. He stopped him with that loaded right hand.
We'll see some of the aftermath in this deal, too. 24 minutes left in this video.
And Jerry rolled over. Idol saying, I'm going to shave it. Rolls Lawler back over. He's going for the cover. 1, 2. Whoa. Boy, that's how close the King was to losing his first hair match. Over there beating with a pipe or something on the door chain as Idol again loaded his hand up and belted Lawler. This is, however, an anything goes match. Count of 1, 2, and Jerry is out of it again. For Lawler. And Jerry battling his way back with a vicious uppercut. Misses off that second rope. His share of missing as he came down, and that right knee is hurt.
Richard, about 89 is Tim Brown. I believe I'm right, 89 90 in his debut. He's been training and wrestling in his backyard for years.
And if the referee didn't catch it before the match, it's an anything goes match. Idol drops with an elbow down on the King. Count of 1, count of 2, count of 3, but no. Lawler's shoulder was up at the 10-minute mark. 10 minutes passed in this cage match as Jerry Lawler that close to losing it. Idol has had a couple of very close spots. Watch this one. Idol again on the ropes. But Austin is staggering a little with that right knee. He is favoring it, and he misses. Lawler out of the way as he drops with the elbow. Now the King. Gonna spear him. He nailed him right in the head. Idol falling around. Lawler is hurt himself.
I guess this is the hottest at the end of this match of any crowd that I've ever seen in any town that I've seen personally. Now, the only thing I can think, certainly, that the people were hot, but they were throwing things hot. They weren't attacking the heels hot, was when Hulk Hogan turned on WCW back in the days as they formed the NWO. That was a lot of heat too. But that wasn't this kind of heat. Does that make sense? The NWA heat was great, and they threw stuff and all that sort of thing. It was a shot. This heat we'll see in a few minutes. The fans wanted to kill the heels, Michael.
Oh, absolutely. This is as heat can be.
Randy, this is the hottest I've ever seen fans.
Randy looks to me like
Of course, growing up on Memphis,
Austin hit
the only
might
thing
have hurt him
comparable
more
was
than
when
we
Ole
originally thought.
turned on Dusty in the cage in Atlanta.
All the way over the top
Fans
rope,
were
down
climbing the
onto
cage.
concrete.
Very similar.
Idol is staggering.
I think referee Paul Neighbors has a great comment right there.
That's Paul Neighbors' son.
Okay, again,
Commented.
excellent comment.
Right into the cage, right in front of us, Lance.
Directly in front of us, Austin Idol pounding Jerry Lawler. Slamming his head.
I remember him running at
Mashes his face right
running
into
through
the
the light.
posts on one
I'm sure Heyman was really
of the
shook.
cage. Slamming him into it. And Lawler again slammed up against the cage wall directly in front of us. Now Idol throws him back inside. He'd like to try to keep him in the middle of the ring where he cannot put a foot up on the rope. Lawler being pounded with that foot in the lower back, now in the back of the neck. Austin Idol as the King, hearing the screams of the many people who have come out to support the King of Wrestling. Lawler catches him with a left and a right. Look at the King go with that strap down. He's after Idol.
This match that took place on April the 27th, 1987, very good crowd, did not sell out. 8,500 people.
As Calhoun is down on the floor, and his significance is that Idol could not get a 3 count. It's going to be a pile driver.
Crowd was very loud.
And Calhoun dumped into the mat by Austin Idol. That'll put the referee out.
Calhoun took a beating for a guy that never worked the match.
The referee's out of it, man. A pound driver from Austin Idol on Jerry
What? To answer Stuart. To answer somebody's question.
Lawler grabs him as Idol
Randall
is
Dixon Sr.
to take him up. Lawler's got him down, but the referee is out of it. So there's no count, and Idol is able to break it. Knee in the middle of the back by Idol. Off on the floor goes the King. Powder from Paul Dangerly outside the cage.
This match is great. How many stars do you think Dave Meltzer would give this match? Michael?
Probably 2, knowing Dave Meltzer.
Idol get a pin, 1, 2, 3 either. Calhoun grabbing his neck.
This is a 5-star, by the way.
Nobody.
I agree with Michael. Nobody's done a swanton off the top of the cage, so he wouldn't like it.
The finish is a 10-star.
Idol kicks his way out. Jerry pounding the midsection, going for the pile driver. And Idol taking a pile driver from the King. Lawler with the cover, but where's the referee? He's hurt. Who is it? Tommy Rich. Where in the world did Rich come from? The gate is still locked. Tommy Rich pile driver.
I agree with Paul. The crowd standing, no one sitting. They're all into it.
Austin Idol. Where did he? I didn't even see him. It was again Rich.
You never saw Madison Square Garden like this.
Slammed out. It's still locked.
That pile driver wasn't the best in the world.
That was a
But
month.
it didn't matter.
That was a month, but the people didn't even notice it.
After the pile driver on. Idle. Oh, no. Oh, no. They're going to post him again. Idle and Rich pulling Lawler over to the ringside. And they slam him into that ring. Same thing they did before. Well, Idle evidently thought of every contingency because Tommy Rich appears from nowhere. Idle pulls the referee over. Lawler is down. Count of one. Count of two. Count of three, and the King has lost the hair match to Austin Idle. 18 minutes, 17 seconds. The winner is Austin Idle and Tommy Ridge. I can't believe it. I think the people are as stunned as we are, Randy. Where in the world?
Listen to the crowd at this point.
Yes, I was looking at the referee to see what Lawler was going to do if he would be able to reach him. And look at Idle. Idle apparently got the key from the referee. I didn't even see that. I'm looking at Jerry up there.
Look how mad the people are at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee on April the 27th, 1987. There were 2 cage matches that night, a loaded card, Big Turn on the card. Pat Tanaka was defeated by Jeff Jarrett in Jeff's first cage match. Pat was Jeff's regular tag team partner, turned on him. Jeff Jarrett's first tag team partner. As you see the celebration with Paul Heyman, Paul E. Dangerously, and Tommy Rich. And Waller have won the match, and they continue the heat as Rich, Paul E. back in the ring. There's a fan coming in. That's always a sign that you got it, that you have the money. When the people are willing to go to jail to help their favorite, that's money, that's heat.
Not one person has left. Not one. The match has been over for 5 minutes.
And the hair shaving. And we have 10 minutes left in this video.
Oh, I know. I mean, they're pissed. That's what I'm saying. The fans are engaged and they're pissed.
Todd, I mean, there wasn't a direct order, but it's common sense that you don't know if they have a gun or whatever. If somebody hits the ring, you take the threat out immediately.
Fair game. Fair game. You're entering your own territory. You're entering enemy territory. Fair game.
And again, Rich takes a cheap shot. Lawler is knocked over backward.
I Noel Barber wasn't smartened up. Was he scared as hell out here, all right?
Yeah, that was a different barber than Mr. Lay that had done a lot of the hair matches. This might have been Lawler's personal barber. Adam, do you have any insight into that? You can write the comments.
I just figured he was scared out of the match.
Alternately taking shots.
Adam says maybe Cortesi, maybe? I'm not sure.
Lost it in 1817 due to the scheming of Austin Idol, Tommy Rich, and Paul Danger.
18-minute match. This is the 31-minute video. And the heat is still there. This is the beauty of professional wrestling. This is a prime example where he draws money.
Rich, another cheap shot. Idol holding the chain.
We have a video coming up in a minute. BC. Stay tuned for the round in about 11 minutes. They have that bag. Paul has the bag collecting the hair, I would assume. They sure didn't cut much of his hair, did they, Michael?
No.
Ed Cortese, so Adam was right.
Shaving the head of the legendary king of wrestling, Jerry Lawler. Lawler hurt. Oh, Jerry is in tough shape. And Cortese, the barber, being supervised by Austin Idol, while Paul Dangerly is collecting the hair in a bag.
I guarantee you, collecting the hair in the bag was a Paulie idea. He was just a heavy thinker back then.
I wonder if he still has the hair.
And Rich, I have got to see the tape. I must see at the point where he entered the cage. I just absolutely am dumbfounded.
Dave, I would say mid-90s or maybe a couple of years later, Johnny Rich was a part of the FBI and ECW, maybe even 1998. I'm not positive on that.
But of his hometown, Memphis, Tennessee, is having his hair shaved off in the center of the ring. Even more important to me as I sit here and look at it, Lawler is hurt from that post shot that Idol and Rich put on him.
Having trouble with the razor. A lot of times that happens when you're so sweaty. Have you ever been sweating like a hog after a 30-minute match and then your hair's cut? It don't work out too good.
And the barber not in an enviable position of being forced to cut.
Normally they cut wet hair with scissors, not with clippers.
Yeah.
Idol, and I don't mean Austin. Something that we never thought would be done.
The key to this point, both of you guys have brought this up. This is now 20 minutes maybe after this match. And everybody's still there. All 8,500 people. It's a great shot from Randy West
This didn't just happen.
of this main event at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee on April the 27th, 1987, drawing 8,500 people to the Coliseum. Go see Jerry Lawler, good wrestler.
watches as Rich continues to kick the referee.
First of all, the Memphis territory was a part of the NWA for years and years and years. He also wrestled on Atlanta Superstation TV. So yes, he did. Challenged multiple times. Hello, Brian. What's going on, buddy? Multiple times he wrestled for the NWA World title, including matches with Jack Briscoe, with Terry Funk, with Harley Race, all NWA's World Heavyweight Champions.
Idol and Rich congratulating each other, and Paul Dangerly. And Jerry's head is completely cut. The hair has all been cut down to a little stubble on his head. He needs help getting out of that ring. That's what he needs. How long are they going to go on with this?
The key to this, and the key to the heat, the key to all this,
He needs to get out of there.
if they stay, you know, Jeff Raines, you know, you got him. You know, business is coming. And then the next week, Waller was injured, and it was Idol and Rich against Bill Dundee and Rocky Johnson, who were a great tag team in Memphis in 1976. It drew over 9,000 people, closer to 10,000 people.
So there was a lingering effect to this, is what you're saying.
Yes, I mean, 87 was just a tremendous year, and just the excitement. Right.
I remember Dundee's interview after this. One of my favorite interviews ever.
Very good.
In fact, that's where I first found out on that interview that Austin Idol lived in Pensacola.
Yes.
Dundee said it on TV.
Ed Cortese was the barber, very well known. Camera work done by Randy West and Ken Parnell. Randy West upstairs with the long shot, Ken Parnell downstairs. Now, the reason Idol and Rich is still in the ring, they were worried about that walk back to the dressing room at the Mid-South Coliseum in Memphis, Tennessee.
And again, nobody's left.
No, nobody. 8,500 people for sure.
There you are, right?
Yeah, this, so we'll see a little more of it. Real quick, last video of the day Rich and Idle spooked by the crowd. You saw some of them. It's a 22-second video. We finished the video clip on this page. As Conrad Thompson says, lots to unpack there, Michael. So unpack that, this whole show, and final comments because it's 8:56.
Well, first of all, I think that in the realm of Memphis wrestling, if not number one, it's in the top 3 matches of all time. I think it was classically done. I think everybody was shocked with the Rich angle. I mean, who Hollywood couldn't have written a better script. That was an incredible match. And this was an incredible show. But I think Coach put it in perspective when we started the show. 87 was an incredible year for Memphis Championship Wrestling.
Chris?
Oh, that match, I agree with Michael. It's top 3, top 5 at minimum. It's so well done. I mean, 8,000 people never left. They're chasing them out of the building, wanting to kill them. I mean, that's just, I mean, you had them in the palm of your hand. It was amazing. And you don't see that today. I mean, there's some good product out there today that's enjoyable, but you don't see that. You don't see the buy-in, investment. People are, I mean, they went to work Tuesday morning pissed off over that right there.
I'd go Fargo Al Green, number 1. I would go Lawler Dundee, June 6, 1983, number 2. And I'd go Idle Lawler, this cage match from 87, 3. But, man, I'm not going to argue with anybody if they say that's the best. Certainly, I think after the run they had afterwards, Drew, because the Dundee Lawler was the blow-off. It was the blow-off. Al Green beat Jackie Fargo, so they ended up Fargo coming back, and they did money out of this. Lawler Dundee was the babyface. I mean, was the blow off of that feud. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
All right, I got a question because you were there. What are you thinking standing by that cage when y'all are trying to get them out of there? What's going through your mind right then? Like, what the hell are we fixing to get into, or what's your thoughts?
My thought is, I was in the office, is that I'd known for 10 minutes that there were going to be trouble getting the Hills out of the ring. So I made real quick, I got to be with them. The office has to support the talent. They just do. And so I was just hoping, in my mind, I was looking for weapons. I was the good police presence. I was looking for weapons, knives, guns, or whatever. And if say it was Paul Lee, I saw somebody coming after Paul Lee, I would have tried to tackle Paul Lee to get him down away from the trouble. He would have been easier to tackle. You know, he's not as big as he is now. I'd hate to try to tackle his ass now, but you know, that's one of the things you do, or you first of all let the police are trained to do it, but a wrestling promoter can sense that type of trouble and read the heat better than a cop could. They really could.
Yeah. So if Paul Lee had to do that today, he would have died because he can't run that far.
No.
Randy, that brings up an interesting quote, or a point too. How smart were the cops? I mean, they knew when heat was heat. They knew when the crowd was getting out of control. But how smart were they? Did they realize at that moment that this could be a riot?
I think they could sense it, but in just their regular, these, especially the people that were every week, the cops that were there, the police officers that were there every week, had to know this ain't a normal Monday night crowd. they're at another level. They're at a riot situation, and it's just lucky and good security. And I think another thing that helped the Hills is they stayed in the ring after the finish for 15 minutes.
That's right.
Even though the people stayed, they wasn't as hot as they were when it first happened.
Slow burn.
Final comments for today's show. Will you be back with us next week, or do you know, Chris?
I feel like I'll be here next week. Pretty confident in that. I thought it was a great show because this one of my favorite years. This program here that we're watching, that we just watched, was amazing. And like I said, because Tommy Rich as a heel was just so great to me that I never saw coming in the 70s, watching him evolve, what it turned into. And then for that to turn into that big a deal was totally just tremendous.
We miss Pat Trammell. He's having a good time with his buddies. Miss Pat. He'll be back next week. Chris said he'll be back, and I don't think Michael is doing any traveling next week, and usually we don't know this early. Michael, final words about this great show, classic memories.
Well, first of all, it's easy to have a great show when you've got great product, and 87 was a great product. So great job of putting it together, Randy, and to Adam. And, when you look back and you see all that great film work from Randy West, I mean, he's like the third man in the crew that made it all happen back then. So I mean, it holds its texture today, and that's pretty awesome. Just real quickly, I had to put my Hartford Whalers jacket. It got a little cool in the studio. I got my jersey for the Whalers. Thursday night, and you'll like this, Chris. The Carolina Hurricanes are wearing Hartford Whalers jerseys. And I was a big Hartford Whaler fan when I was programming in Hartford in 1977. So if anybody noticed the greatest logo in the history of sports, there it is.
Pretty cool.
Adam Dunn produced. We appreciate it. We appreciate Pat all the time. Appreciate Michael St. John and Chris Ellis. And man, y'all don't know what's going to happen to me. I'm going to be out of action probably Friday through Wednesday as far as working my dadgum job, Uber driving, make good money, people, but it's not good in the car. I'm having to put over $10,000 into a new transmission. Do it Friday, then we'll miss the whole weekend and probably into the week. So crazy time. Maybe this is a good time, Adam, if my website, folks, there is a donate page up there. These shows are completely free. However, if anybody feeling sorry for ORH, it's going to be out of work for 4 or 5 days, go to Cash App, $ Randy Hills 1961, or Venmo at Randall Hills /3, and of course the PayPal.me/Randy Hills, or you can click on that QR code. Guys, Chris and Michael, thanks a lot. Thanks, Adam. This has been a great show, folks.
Thank you, everybody. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for the chance to be on, Randy. Really enjoyed it. Great job.
Everybody.
Good night, everybody.
You'll see America's favorite sport on WHBQ television.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.